You skipped it, you dissed it, you said it's a bore. But what if that film's got a little bit more? What if I don't like it? What if it's bad? What if it's awkward or lazy or sad? But what if it's genius, a total surprise? What if it's gold when I open my eyes? We're watching the films you love to avoid. Now sit down and deal with your cinephile void. What if I don't like it? Let's give it a spin. You might hate it or love it. Let's dive right in. If you've never seen the 1986 musical Little Shop of Horrors, the one directed by Frank Oz, you might be thinking, is it for me? Well, on the one hand, it is darkly funny. It is an over-the-top musical with really catchy songs, incredible puppet work, and a story that's beyond absurd and surprisingly heartfelt. Rick Moranis as Seymour is charming, and Audrey, too, is one of the most memorable movie monsters ever. On the other hand, it can be very campy. Some jokes can feel dated, and the pacing isn't always smooth. Musical numbers are not for everyone, and the story leans into cartoonish absurdity. But here's the thing. All of that energy is what makes it so memorable. It's clever, it's fun, it leans into the spectacle, and if you're willing to enjoy a film that's equal parts horror, comedy, and musical, Little Shop of Horrors might just surprise you. And now, to fully unpack all of this, we are joined by Taylor Complains, who will share his take on the film, and as always, will give us a perspective that you won't want to miss. So let's dive right in. Welcome to the episode. We are here joined by Taylor Complains to complain, perhaps, we don't know yet, about Little Shop of Horrors and this whole experience of even trying to find a horror musical to watch was pretty horrific to begin with. But Taylor, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm not here under protest, but I watched that film under a heavy protest because as soon as I heard musical, I'm like, it's gonna start off with dun 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 dun. I'm like, fuck, dude, I gotta stop. I can't. I had to fast forward through the musical part. Every single musical number I had to fast forward through. By the end of the movie, my hands were like really confused because I wanted to beat myself up for watching, and I was like, stop it, both of you. I had to do this for my friend. I love my friend. We love our friend. And I had to calm them both down because they were like, "What are you doing, nerd?"
And in fairness, I watched, because we didn't go straight to Little Shop of Horrors. We had picked something else. This is something that we were going to try and record a while ago, and it didn't wind up working out. I think I watched Anna and the Apocalypse. I watched Lure. I watched Repo the Genetic Opera. I watched...
Wait, did you like Anna and the Apocalypse?
No, I didn't like any of those movies. They were all so skin-crawlingly, upsettingly bad that I didn't make it through a single one of those films.
So just particularly about Annie and the Apocalypse, what did you not like about that one? Because I've always been intrigued by that, but the fact that it's a musical, my hands are just like, don't, you nerd, you better not watch. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing it. Let's watch football, and then they calm down. They calm down immediately. But what about Anna and the Apocalypse did you not like?
The only redeeming qualities to a horror musical that I can find exist in Little Shop of Horrors. Anna and the Apocalypse is just another musical. Everyone is so twee, so perfect. The vocals are so beautiful. They're so, oh my God. It is a testament to what you called theater kids, or I call them theater fucks. Sorry, we're going there. That like, I need to be watched so much. Everyone, please look at me. Please look at me. Existence that seems to exude from all of these characters in these musicals. I felt like I was doing the cast a favor by watching it.
There is definitely like a burning need to be liked, having that spotlight on you. And like, I tell jokes and I do stupid movie reviews. So I literally video myself and then broadcast that to the world. So I didn't really like understand the similarities between me and theater kids until now, and you are responsible for that, and I hate myself a little more because of you. So if you're taking away nothing from this podcast that you're doing, I hate myself now a little more, and it's your fault because I hate theater kids so much.
Thanks. Well, I think what I hate about theater, the way that it musicals, because not all theater. We're not gonna hashtag not all
No,
theater.
it's not an all-encompassing. I don't hate all theater. Just like the like if you put
Archetype.
quotations around theater kids and then you look at that like stereotype. I don't like the like they
Hmm.
sing when you talk to them. Like, hey man, how you doing, Mark? I'm doing fine. Whoa, dude, get Mark, go away. Go away, dude. Please.
It's incredibly performative. That's what it feels
Yes.
like. It never, what I love about cinema is the feeling of being completely lost in that universe, and it breaks a lot of that realism for you. And so, like, with theater kids, you take a song, so Glee, I think is a great example of this. You can take a song that maybe Metallica sang, and then they sing it on Glee, and they make it so perfect and so clean, and every single word is articulated that it becomes, for some reason, to me, and I understand other people are like, this is the best thing ever. To me, it becomes so upsetting.
Well, I don't. I mean, I love the fact that like you take someone else's. You take like a heavy metal band,
Mhm.
right? Or arguably heavy metal, because obviously we've seen things that are way heavier than Metallica. But I like Metallica. I think that watching Glee do that could be rad. I just don't appreciate the presentation that they brought to us with certain songs like that. You know what I mean? Like I think they did like Soundgarden after Chris
Yeah.
Cornell died. I'm like, this is gonna be rad. I'm gonna be excited. I love Soundgarden. I love '90s grunge, and I watched that, and I'm like, and it seemed very much less about the song and more about the people singing it. Like it was very much not about what happened. It was very much like, look at me, sing this song. Look at me. They've never heard a Soundgarden song in their life.
It robs the song of the emotional weight that the lyrical content or performance gives it because it is too clean. It is about how
Absolutely.
good that singer can sing and not the emotional content of
Absolutely.
that song.
Because I
Yeah.
think the songs have character because they're flawed. Like James Hetfield has like a raspy,
Mhm.
growly voice, but he can also like vibrato and have clean singing. Chris Cornell, like he has one of the raspiest voices ever, but for some reason it's presented under the guise of a beautiful singing voice. Like these Glee people, they're all just
Mhm.
very clean and there's none of that grit. And I feel like that's what made
Mhm.
these singers, you know?
And so, yeah, when you think about a horror musical, you think, well, horror has grit and edges to it. How could that not make the concept of musicals better for me if that feels like a major complaint that I have? And yet, here we are scraping the bottom of the barrel and only coming up with me feeling pleased. But before we delve too far back into that, let's talk about you as a person because my viewers might not know you.
It's not going to be a wonderful experience for you all, but let's do it if we have to.
Just a little quick blurb. What do you like? What do you do? Your Taylor Complains. That's your handle on TikTok and Instagram,
Everything.
also YouTube,
Yeah.
everything, all of the
Yeah.
medias. And of course, it'll be in the liner notes.
Yeah, I'm Taylor Complains on everything. I just review horror movies and I try to make them funny. In a world that's burning down, you will never hear me talk about it. You will only hear me talk about fart jokes juxtaposed with a movie, and I will try to make those two things work in conjunction with each other while I describe it to you. And I have a comedy podcast that if you do want me to hear me talk about the world burning down and how aware I am or how not aware I am of it, you go on there and you hear me talk about it. It's gonna make you mad because I'm going to tell it to you and make a joke about it, but we got to learn to laugh at stuff. When the house is on fire and there's no way out, might as well laugh. You know what I mean? The dog meme, that's me. It's my podcast. Everything's fine when the house is on
That's what I
fire.
really love. What I really love about that is you're always going to get something hilarious, and even if it's a hot take, it's always a very tongue in cheek. Like you're often filming the toilet paper and then up at yourself in the bathroom. Like it's very satirical. It's very light. You know.
I just want you to laugh. That's all I want. I want that like
Hmm.
10 seconds of your life, and I want it to be filled with joy, and I want me to be attached to that because I want, like, when I die, I want people to go, he's a dick, but I laughed a lot and he made my life happier. And that's
And
all I
it's
want.
that's a beautiful thing to want, and it's so funny that, like, both of us, I feel, are very bright, positive people, and we're like, "Fuck musicals and fuck theater kid." I know, like, what is wrong with us? Why are we so angry? And yet, like, Yeah. Oh, to keep going back there, I'm going to ask you the top 3 questions that I ask my guests when I bring them in, so we can kind of get a handle on you as a movie viewer. Because I found that when I ask people what their top 4 movies are, it feels like they get put on the spot. And as we talk about how much we hate performative people, it can sometimes feel a little performative. So I find that we find
I
a
could
little bit more
actually
info.
absolutely answer that.
Give
I
me your
have
top 4.
my top 4 on Letterboxd are The Thing from
Mm-hmm.
1983, Evil Dead from 2013, Cabin in the Woods from 2015, I think. Oh wait, no, Cabin in the Woods 2013, Evil Dead 2015, and then The Descent. And then number 5 is The Fly.
Wow. Damn, that's a good setup. Oh, those are
It's just like
all. That's.
I don't want to be the guy that's like all old movies, because that's dumb. Like obviously
Mm-hmm.
we pay homage to the oldies because they paved the way for what we can do now. Like there's a reverence and a respect. But dude, there's so many good new movies. Like people are like, there's no good horror.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's such in the past 15 years, we've got some of the best horror that I've ever seen in my life. Period. But also in the 80s, we've got some of the best horror movies I've ever seen in my life. So you just got to know where to look. You just go through all of them. If you like the front cover of it, watch it. That's how we used to pick movies out before we had the internet.
I know.
Just pick the coolest cover and watch the movie.
Know literally
That's the
nothing
best way to
about
do it.
it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do
you
still
know, we
enjoy
know
that a
nothing
lot.
about it. Dude, Blockbuster was the best. But like, how many times did you go home with just the shittiest movie? Dude, Jason
Actually,
Goes to Hell. I remember when I rented that. I'm like, this sucks ass. I just
I
wanted to
got
see like the big snake.
Ravenous for 99 cents at a sell out in Blockbuster. They were like, "There's nobody's renting this. We'll just sell the copy." So it's a fucking phenomenal
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
I haven't seen
but
Ravenous,
yeah,
the one from like '98 or something like that.
you should see Ravenous. It's
I
a
need to see it.
adaptation of Manifest Destiny told through the idea of cannibalism.
Done. Cannibalism? Done. The rest of those other
Uh,
words, I'll look those up. I'll look those up when the podcast is over. Cannibalism? I'm in.
You'll be watching a movie. It's like a period piece. So you're like, "Oh shit, it's a period piece." It's a horror movie.
Yeah. As soon as she said cannibal, I was like, I'm in. But the rest of those words, my brain was like, the Patriots won yesterday by 38 points, and I'm so excited. Like, that's just like beat my chest and talk about Boston sports. It's like where my intellectual brain is, but I'm still with you. I'm still with you in this conversation. I just want you to know. So, like, when I do trail off, you're like, he's fucking thinking about Tom Brady. I know he is.
Actually, did you see him? I have to ask, as a football fan,
I
did
did.
you see him?
You know what? I enjoyed it way more than other people did because as a football fan, in free agency, I'm refreshing my Google to see who the Patriots got and to see who the Celtics got. How's Jason Tatum doing on his ACL injury? Like that's what I'm. So him just had me by the balls the whole time, and when I finally got to that end, I was like, this is bonkers. The end of him is so bonkers. I feel like that's what 28 years later wanted to be. That's what that movie and James Garland or whatever his name is. That's what he
Alex
wanted.
Garland, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he wanted us to appreciate is
Mm-hmm.
the absolute insanity of that ending. But I felt like him did a better job of it. I definitely feel like the narrative was a little light, but it didn't bother me too much. I think I give it like a 6 out of 10. It was enjoyable. I would certify it fresh. People think 6 out of 10. They get mad at me for that. I'm like, dude, 60% Rotten Tomatoes is still like an actual whole tomato. It's
Yeah,
still good.
I
6 out of
mean,
10 is not. D's get degrees.
I watched the whole movie and didn't look at my watch once. Like, I thoroughly
No,
enjoyed it. I
it
didn't
was a
go
good
out of
time.
the theater like, holy shit, that's like a Fellini film. But I don't know why people were
No,
expecting that of that movie. So, like, it was very enjoyable. And people came out like, that is a travesty. And I'm like, you bitches loved long
really?
legs. So shut the hell up about
Yeah.
what is and is not good.
I mean, I would be inclined to argue with people's opinion about stuff, but like, I think reviewing films is really cool. I just let people like what they like. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
care. Like, people get so mad. Like, they have such an emotional attachment to these films. Like, I call the F
Mm-hmm.
word a lot in my DMs because I don't like long legs or because, dude, I gave Sinners like a 7 out of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love the characters. I love the characters. I love that movie, but I hate vampires. And it diluted that movie for me so much. And people are just like, you don't like black people. You don't like black people. I'm like, I don't like vampires. The vampires can be any color, dude. Like, I don't see things like that. I don't deal in like like subplots. I look at the actual, like, I don't deal in vampires. Like, I love the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way it was shot. And 7 out of 10 is good. That's still saying I had a
Mm-hmm.
good time. I enjoyed the movie. I just didn't like vampires. And then there's voodoo with the vampires. I'm just like, I'm definitely, this part of the movie I don't like.
That's why I
But
think
people
it's
get,
so fascinating. That
but people
response to
hated
him when
that.
people are like it has to be the worst movie of the entire year instead of just being like, I didn't
No,
enjoy it. Anybody who liked this didn't, and like it's just another movie. I mean, I don't think you have to judge a
dude,
person based
the
on what they do and do
the
not
anybody
like,
who
but
likes this, the anybody who likes this and then ... is so weird, because it's
I
like, dude,
know.
you have an individual like, it makes me think about that. I don't want to go Star Wars because, again, my fists are like, you fucking nerd. Like, calm down. I haven't seen Star Wars in like 10 years. Calm down. We don't watch it every day. It's like the Sith deal in absolutes, right? I like that. Nothing, all theater, like, it's what you said about theater kids. Not all theater kids are bad, right? Not all musicals are bad,
No.
as I've found out, because okay, I'll save my hot take for Little Shop of
Okay.
Horrors. But like,
Okay.
the South Park musical, not bad. Again, still musicals, but I don't know, not everything is all bad. You know what I mean? You can't just
Mm-hmm.
say like, oh, this sucks. Everything sucks that has this in it, because I don't know, I've seen vampire movies I like. Blade was cool. Right? I don't hate every
Yeah.
vampire movie, but it's vampires make it harder for me to like a film because it's not my favorite horror trope. So I'll
Yeah,
correct
because you already
myself on that.
know that there are certain aspects that are, unless somebody's like, hey, this is a vampire movie that's unlike all other vampire movies, as soon as you get
God.
into it, it's called a genre piece. You know to expect stuff. And that happens with anything when you
Yeah.
say it's in any genre. If I tell you it's a comedy and you don't like comedies, you might have the same exact response as saying, I don't like vampire movies typically. It kind of puts you back away from it and you have to get past that. That's something we talk about on this show a lot. Like
It's
my
like a hurdle.
predisposition
It's like
towards something. Yeah.
I'm walking in already having to like do cardio. I don't want to do cardio. I just want to have fun, but I got to run past this one part of the film that I don't like. Now I'm tired. I'm out of breath. My breath smells. Why does it smell? I can smell myself. I'm already like deep into the neuroses of me halfway through this
Yes.
film, and I don't want to be, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy it. It could still get me
Well,
back.
it's a bit like, to go into nerdery again, it's a bit like, so everybody who stepped into this movie theater to watch this movie had to roll a dice against psychic damage. Everyone else rolled and they're not taking psychic damage. I am taking at least one negative HP psychic damage every hour I
Yeah.
sit here and watch this movie.
I love that. You explained it way better than I did. My
D&D.
explanation went into my breath
D&D.
smelling and me smelling. It went into my self-loathing, and we don't want to get into that.
I'm going to ask you my first question. What is the first movie you can remember seeing?
Peter Pan.
Peter
No,
Pan,
Land
the
Before
animated one? Land Before Time, superb.
I think it's Land Before Time, but I didn't understand it until I was in like 3rd grade, and then we watched it in a 3rd grade class, and I finally understood that it was about a dinosaur chasing his dead mom's ghost, and I sobbed because I didn't know that that's what it was about. I was just like, dinosaur, because I was a remedial child. I was like, dinosaur. But when I finally came to when the soft part of my skull healed up and I went to school and I learned a little bit, I was like, this is the most depressing movie I've ever seen in my life. I think it still might be one of the most depressing movies ever made.
I mean, it ends with them all dying. Like, it's so harsh that the mom is dead. They are starving to death. And then suddenly they turn around and they see everyone who we already know has died in a like heaven location and they walk towards them. And you're like, oh, that's a different
Yeah.
movie when you're a kid. Like, as
But
an
then they
adult,
made-
it's
but-
like very clear. But as a kid, you're like, I guess they found everybody.
Dude, and then they made the second one and they made it look like they found everybody. It's like the Great Valley.
Like,
We found
4 of
everybody. I'm
them.
like, what? I'm like, the end of this movie, like, there's like a silhouette of a volcano in the background. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's burning. Everyone's about to get it.
It made Titanic 2, the second voyage.
They
No,
should
it
do
didn't.
that, dude. That would be so rad. That'd be so rad. Leo does a cameo in the ocean. He's just
It's
like
just a,
this,
like,
floating.
floaty
Good
side-
job
yeah,
doing
just
it
fly
again,
by.
idiots.
Man,
It's like, you idiots don't learn. Hey, speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio and the magnum opus that you that people were supposed to think that him was going to be. People are saying that new Leonardo DiCaprio movie by Paul Thomas Anderson or whatever is like one of the
Mhm.
best films like to be made in the last decade.
Yeah,
But
one
it's two and
battle
a half
after
hours.
another.
One
I
battle
have
after another.
not, yeah, seen it yet because it is 2.5 hours and I have to work myself up to it. That being said, I really, really loved There Will Be Blood, which we have covered on this show before. It is
Dude, I love
so
that
good.
movie.
That's
I
Paul
didn't
Thomas
like it when I was a
Anderson.
kid. I didn't like that movie
Yes.
when it came out, but I watched
Yeah.
it a couple years ago, and I love that film. I love how like nihilistic it is.
Yeah.
It's just me.
And well shot and so good. So, yeah, and that comes out the same exact time as No Country for Old Men, too. So we were like, give me nihilism, give me mean men in America.
Dude. No Country for Old Men is one of the meanest films of all time. It's just for no reason. This guy's just air gunning people in the head. And
Cormac
poor Woody
McCarthy, my
Harrelson.
friend. Did you know that he winds up basically playing his father in that movie? Woody Harrelson's real father was a hitman.
Is that why he did like Natural Born Killer? He just loves like he loves these films, and then like True Detective, all like he's very killer adjacent. He's always in a movie where he's like
Mm-hmm.
chasing one, becoming one, he is one.
Got a lot of motivation, real life motivation coming out of that. So yeah, I
Even though
mean,
I think
but also,
Natural Born Killers is just like a Pulp Fiction ripoff, or Pulp Fiction's a Natural Born Killer ripoff. I feel like the characters are very, very, very similar for that time period to be so close together and not have any relation. I like to think that like
yeah.
one is the cause of the other, or they're connected somehow, so I don't feel like it's a cheap ripoff.
Hmm. I mean, we often see that happen. There'll be like two Truman Capote movies in the same exact year for some reason. And I think what happens is that like studios buy films and then somebody finds out like, oh shit, we're sitting on that Capote script. Well, fucking the studio next door is going to do their movie. So we have to do our, and then they just like shit them out at the same time because they don't want one
Yeah,
to outdo the other,
like
even though
when
they're not
Rec
technically related.
and Quarantine came out. Like they were
Yup.
literally the same film, but they're just in different languages. I mean, Rec's a better film because it's not scene for scene, but they're almost scene
Hmm.
for scene, identicals. It's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah. But yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson also did Licorice Pizza, and I really
I haven't seen
hated
that.
that. It's kind of like yay for pedophilia, but maybe not, or maybe like
No
nostalgic for
way.
pedophilia. Yeah, it's not.
No
It's like
way.
I think
Woody
Dan from
Allen
Real
had his
Talks
hands all over that one.
did a fantastic piece recently about why the relationship in Call Me By Your Name works, whereas the relationship in Licorice Pizza doesn't. And it's because of this, like, when you watch Call Me By Your Name, you know that it's a bad thing that has happened to this character, and it resolves in a way where you're like, that is trauma, and that's part of the story. Whereas in Licorice Pizza, it's kind of like nostalgic for how in the 70s this could kind of happen.
So weird, dude. You know what though? Even the music back in the 70s was weird. You know what I mean? Like, hey little
Hmm.
girl, is your daddy home? What? Why?
Kind of
Why
shit.
is this a song? Why is this a song? Why is that old man singing that song?
And he also did Magnolia, which some people do and do not like. So Paul Thomas Anderson, if it's more like There Will Be Blood, yeah. If it's more like the Licorice Pizza, maybe I can skip this one. It's 2.5 hours.
I think you might be disappointed because this sounds like something that's like accessible to I feel like not everybody liked There Will Be Blood, right? Like I feel like it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes things need to age before they're appreciated. And I'm a big, you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, I didn't like
Mm-hmm.
Brokeback Mountain. I was like, what the fuck? What is it? Because it came out when I was a kid. I was a child. I watch it now. I'm like, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful film. And I love this film. When I'm a kid, I'm too stupid to understand like, oh, the you know what I mean? Like things come together like when you're older. And that's how There Will Be Blood was to me. Like I was like, oh, I just didn't understand this when I was like younger because I was stupid. Now that
Yeah.
I'm old stupid, so I just understand like the nuances of like being old, being an adult, like the plights of other people. But one
Yeah.
battle after another, it seems like everyone loves it. So I feel like it might be one of those like, and it's supposed to be like an action comedy. So I immediately, I don't know why, but I thought like, oh, it's gonna be like Rush Hour. Paul Thomas Anderson made a Rush Hour. Like it's not going to be artsy like the other films that he makes because I like the tinge of the art that he does put in his film,
I do like the tinge of
and
art
like
he
the
puts in his film,
nihilism
but
that he does.
what if we got Rush Hour with just a little tinge of art and nihilism? I wouldn't hate
That'd be
that.
that would be awesome. Then you would get my personality because I'm all comedy with a little bit of nihilism.
Looks like we got definitely gonna have to check that one out. Next question for you. Movie. Do you think you have seen more times than any other film? Maybe it's your comfort film, you throw it on all the time.
You know what? Because I watch a different film every day, I haven't done that in so long. I think I've watched a new
Wow.
film every day for 600 days now, 500 days. Sometimes I'll watch like a
Holy
couple films
fuck.
so that I can yeah, I've watched a new film. So it's hard to go back and revisit stuff, but I mean there are films that I've reviewed twice just because I'm like, "Hey, how do I feel about this film now? Like what's my retrospective now? How have I
Mhm,
grown as a
mhm.
person to like now just view this?" But it's not always that serious. I think the film that I've seen, I mean, I've watched The Land Before Time 50 times, but that's I was a kid, you put it on every day when you come home. Just so I could be like, "Dinosaurs," and then, like, when I'm
Yeah.
older, I've never watched it again. I will never watch that again. Probably, like, Ace Ventura,
Hey, yeah.
because I was always like, "What class do I need to go to learn how to talk with my ass?" Because I've heard that, like, other languages are hard to learn, but I've never have how do you speak out of a different orifice? I never figured out how he did that.
If you
It just
could, you'd
talks and
be
it
a
sounds like
real
him, but with
rich
more
man.
baritone.
Gotta learn to throw your voice. Get
I
into
gotta figure out
puppetry.
how to talk. I gotta figure out how to talk through my butt. This is crazy.
And final question, if there was a is there a story that you know of that has not yet been filmed? Maybe it's a video game, maybe it's a book that you read, that you would love to see turned into a film. What would it be?
Ed Gein, but that's getting a Netflix adaptation. I just want to see Ed Gein because I like apparently he's the grossest one out of
Mhm.
all of them, and like we don't really. I'm not a big like glorification of serial killer kind of person, but like we've seen Dahmer, we've seen. I mean, Gacy would be cool because he would take the intestines and like manipulate himself with them, and like I don't want to see that, but like just like the I think like how taboo and macabre that is, it
Mhm.
would be cool to like have that going on in the corner and then the camera films like a wall and then you just hear like these weird gross sounds. You know what I mean? There's ways to make it tasteful,
Mhm.
but like still, you know what's going on. I don't want to see him do it.
Yeah.
There are people that want to see him do it. I'm not one of those people.
That's an
I like
interesting
I like the
challenge.
illusion of like can you make it gross without us seeing it? I feel like that's what No Country for Old Men did. It
Yes.
wasn't gory, but I was still like, whoa, the whole time.
And that really goes to a Hitchcock principle of once you show the monster, you kind of take a lot of the power away from it. If you let people fill in what they think is happening, they'll fill in whatever's the scariest to them, which is never going to be really a universal thing. So you kind of allude to gross, allude to scary, and you'll be way more effective in getting there.
But I also love like watching gross stuff. So I do feel like sometimes cutting away, it does pull the punch a little bit and it makes it like a little bit softer. But I definitely don't want to watch a dude with guts just going at him. You know what I mean? Maybe you show the guts and then
Mm-mm.
like the camera pans away so I don't have to see the rest of that because that's gross. But I don't know. I think there'd be a way to do it where like people would be like, this is rad. But then, you know what I mean? Mom's not like in the corner, like, you better not put that in those like, "Oh, okay, it's a
It's
wall."
which director would you like to see try that?
Quentin Tarantino, because then it would just be like he would cut away to feet.
I know it's
It
good.
wouldn't
Yeah,
be a wall, it would just be feet. No, I love Quentin Tarantino, though. For how flawed he is as a person, like, his art is so just palatable to me. It's so good.
and it's definitely had an
Even his
effect on
boring stuff,
cinema that
Hateful
is
Eight, boring, but I love
you
it.
have to say it has yeah, yeah. His his films, even when they're bad and boring, are still better than some other people's stuff, I will
Dude,
say
the
that.
dialogue sometimes is all I need to carry a film, and he just has that in spades. Like, I don't know if he's in a room
Mhm.
having conversations with people, and like, I don't know if he goes to like whatever continent that like he's depicting something on and has like conversations with people, but it sounds like the dialect from whatever region is so spot on to me sometimes.
And that's
Like,
really
there's
hard to
research on
do
research.
because it's very specific, very smart, very funny delivery of these Tarantino dialogue is both unlike anyone else's dialogue and yet described as incredibly realistic. Whereas, like, for me, Aaron Sorkin's dialogue, how do you feel about stuff like The West Wing? I feel like that doesn't feel real at all.
That's like Little Shop of Horrors. Like, people don't talk to each other like that. I don't know. West Wing, I saw it when I was a kid a lot. And I was like, this isn't, you know what I mean?
And
Like
and then he
Frasier
goes
was more accurate
he
with
goes
like
and
how
does
people
Social
interact
Network
with
as
each.
well. And it just doesn't feel, and it's supposed to be about how people interact, and they have Sorkin write it, and it doesn't feel like any of this is real human beings at all.
Yeah.
So then we talk about musicals where like everything has to be delivered in this sort of way. And how could we get more to it's Tarantino and less like it's Aaron Sorkin? Thought, well, let's try Little Shop. And let's open this up. How are you feeling about Little Shop? Obviously you
You
fast
know what?
forwarded through all the songs.
I fast forward through all the songs because I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to hate this. I don't want to hate this
Mm-hmm.
film. And I get to the
Mm-hmm.
end and I'm like, this rules. The end of this movie is one of the best endings to any film. And you sent me the original, the alternate ending. That's the ending that I got when I watched the film. I rented it, and that's the actual ending. I don't. If there's like some happy ending, I don't know because it eats Rick Moranis. It eats Rick Moranis, and then you see the glasses. Do you not want me to spoil the end
No, go ahead.
for
It's
people
just a
that
spoil.
haven't
At
seen?
this point, people have. If you're watching the podcast, we always say that you need to have seen the movie.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't want to. So the big monster pod that came from the total eclipse from the sun, he eats Rick Moranis. And then you see Rick Moranis' glasses with like slime on them. And then like obviously that dude came in because he got a cutting of the plant. And then like it like cuts away. And then there's all these plants terrorizing New York City. And like there's like a call to arms. And it's like it alludes to an invasion. And then you see an invasion. And then the military is going crazy. And these plants are just popping out of the sides of buildings. And it's pretty much just like the plants win. I mean, it doesn't allude to the plant's win, but it says the end with a question mark on it, and then a plant jumps out of the thing after there's like plants taking over the Statue of Liberty. So, in my interpretation, the plants won. And the end of this movie, I'll give you a rating because I'm gonna review this after I get off this podcast, and that's how I'm going to like promote this podcast. Like I'm gonna do all that,
Thank you.
but I would give it like a 5 or a 4, and like I thought I was gonna give it like a 0 because there's so much wrong with this film, but I was engaged. I hated the characters, but I was engaged with the film the whole time. As long as I wasn't, if I took the musical part away, and like what you're left with is actually something like super campy and like in the vein of like I don't know, like a Jim Henson. Because I know Frank Oz did this, but he did like all the Muppet movies, and he did like the Dark Crystal. I love the Dark Crystal. And the Muppet movies are arguably they're watchable. They're not terrible. I loved them when I was a kid. You just fast forward through the stupid singing. I don't know what it is about the singing. I've never been that happy to like run down New York City and be like, it smells like piss here, but I'm happy. No. It's like
So
rats and cockroaches everywhere.
there's a lot to unpack in all of what is happening here. I think the first place I would start with is probably the Frank Oz aspect of this. He has done The Muppets, Take Manhattan, and Dark Crystal, and now this movie. And so much of this movie is still shot like a Muppet movie, especially the beginning part where they're all over the streets and they're like, people are like rolling into frame as if they are Muppet, opening up trash cans as if they were a Muppet. And I didn't watch the Muppets as a kid. I watched the Muppets as an adult. So like my love for Muppets does not have a nostalgia factor to it.
Mine does. Because I would watch
Okay.
like they had the Muppets on at nighttime, and that was cool. And then they had like the Muppet Babies, which was like a cartoon. All Jim Henson,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. He just had his feel on it, and it felt similar to me. So I watched both of them.
But yeah, there is such a specific feel. And the puppetry to all of this is very much Henson. That's why it works. I mean, they did everything practically, which is something you have to kind of admire because some of those
I love
puppets
that
weighed
too.
500 pounds.
I love that too.
Yeah.
That's where like the rest. I give like 2.5 for that. I give 2 points for the ending and how just utterly bleak it was. It was so much bleaker than I ever thought it could be. I'm like, this is just gonna be stupid. But like the girlfriend gets eaten, he gets eaten, like everybody just gets eaten. And then the practical effects are another 2 points. And then I give like another point just for I I didn't hate the story. I actually thought it was
Mhm.
a well woven together story. They did a great
So
job.
you should probably watch the original 60s film Little Shop of Horrors is
Oh, I
not
saw.
a musical. It's by Roger Corman, And it has Jack Nicholson in it. A very young Jack Nicholson plays the dentist, who is not a super sadist, although he's not a great guy. He is the villain in that.
It's not Steve
but he's
Martin.
not dating Audrey. Yeah, Steve Martin's character is a little different in the non-musical version, and he's played by Jack Nicholson. That's why he's on the cover of the 1960s version, which is not a musical. That gets turned into a musical in the 80s by Alan Menken, who did every single Disney thing that we ever enjoyed as a kid. So like The Little Mermaid and all that kind of stuff. So the way that the music sounds, it kind of gets me even when I don't want it to get me, because I feel like as a kid, I am programmed to enjoy this. But the musical ends the way you saw this movie end. That is not the ending of this movie. That is not at all how it ended.
What?
They shot it that way. They did. In fact, this movie cost $25 million in 1986. And let's take a look at Aliens. Aliens from 1986, $18 million. So this movie cost more to film than Aliens of the same year.
I mean,
and it's almost all because of that ending.
The practical effects in this movie, they look expensive. Because, like, for the time period, like, they didn't look bad to me. But for that time period, I mean, the monsters got, like, and the monsters in it a lot. Like, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different iterations of it. There's, like, the monster, like, as a pod. There's a monster as, like, a medium pod. Like, it grows and grows and grows. So they're having to redo this every single time. And now it's got tendrils. And now there's little monsters. And I don't know. It looked expensive.
And they did that one scene where you see the transformation happen in front of you, which is very difficult with a practical effect, and the can gets bigger. They did also have a lot of trouble keeping it safe. It was a lot of snapping giant mechanical jaws, and it did like break someone's wrist and almost actually eat both Rick Moranis and the main character, Audrey's main actress. So like it was pretty dangerous.
No one, because then he couldn't.
No one got really hurt.
Get punched in the face as an adult in New York.
I love Rick Moranis so much, and I'm glad to see him coming back.
I can't believe somebody did that.
I can't believe somebody did that either.
Is he coming back for Spaceballs? I saw the trailer for it, but I didn't see.
He is coming out of retirement to be in Spaceballs.
That's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. And shoot, what's his name? That did. It's the same Mel Brooks. It's Mel Brooks, right?
Yes. Mel Brooks is taking part of it, as with Josh Gad, who I think is one of the major writers and influencers for getting this put together.
Poor John Candy. Anyway. No John Candy. John Candy was in this, though.
John Candy was offered the role that Steve Martin had, the role of, Mr. Mushnick, the guy who owned the shop, but he didn't want to do the whole, he wanted a smaller role. And I think he's great in the role that he's in.
Dude, Bill Murray's in this?
Bill Murray's in it. Most of his lines are ad-libbed because you can't control Bill Murray on a set. And even Christopher Guest is in this as the guy who comes in at the very beginning to be like, tell me about that amazing plant you have.
Dude, he was so bad. He was so bad. That was the worst.
Purposefully bad.
That was the worst.
That was the whole...
I was like, I saw him and I was like, dude, again, these got excited. They were like, what the fuck? I'm like, stop it, dude. Let's just have fun. Let's have a good time. We'll watch football later. We'll get a Coors Light and you.
I don't want to go too far away from the ending point. So what you saw was a completely different ending. They did film that ending and they brought it to test audiences because that's how the musical ends. In order to get approval for your film to be released, you need to have a 55% approval from the test audiences. They were getting 13. Apparently, and they've done a lot of like research and study and talked to Frank Oz about why they think this happened. But when you watch a play, you're so far away from them, and they cut all of the musical numbers. There's like 17 musical numbers in the musical. There's only like 8 in the movie, where you see that Rick Moranis kind of makes a lot more of these choices. He like is not really a great guy and kind of deserves to get eaten at the end. And so people who watched the movie fell in love with Audrey and Seymour and did not like that they got eaten. In fact, the actress who plays Audrey played Audrey in the original musical, and she said, when I got eaten on stage, people were laughing. When I got eaten in the movie, people started crying, and there was a palpable difference between the way the performance was portrayed because the camera was just closer. Isn't that a fascinating aspect of adapting a musical? Like, oh, huh.
The audience is stupid. because she dated a guy who was addicted to laughing gas. She was kind of stupid. I'm just saying, she's kind of dumb. The door is right there. You get a call on the phone from a plant. You're like, I'm going to go over and see what's going on. I wouldn't go over there. I'm like, hey, first of all, how'd you get my phone number? Second of all, what else? Can you call Domino's? I'm hungry. I'm not going to the plant store with a giant plant. You can see it in the window. She's stupid. She's
So,
stupid.
a lot of what I enjoy about this musical is how incredibly farcical it is. Like when we talk about a satire versus a farce is like really, really big and broad and ridiculous. And so, like, you have Christopher Guest's horrifically bad acting. Christopher Guest is a much better actor than that. You have bad decisions from characters who are broadly written and kind of dumb. And none of this is supposed to be taken seriously. In fact, at the end point, when they're belting out their like previous opus songs at each other, and I actually have a moment of being like, fuck this. They get interrupted by Jim Belushi, who literally goes, excuse me, kids, would you mind stop singing? And you're like, they broke that wall
That's
of like
why I missed
admitting that they're singing.
That's why I missed the Jim Belushi. I was just about to ask you because we were talking about the cast. I was like, where's I saw Jim Belushi was in this. Where was he?
And the
But that makes sense
alternate
that he
ending.
was. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Where like he wants to buy the clipping and instead they send him away and then they go back inside and they destroy Audrey. Although even in that ending, and they get married and you see them in their little tract house. It pans out and you see another alien plant kind of like wink and smile at you. So they like give you a soft, maybe the aliens didn't die ending, but it's not nearly as great as the ending that you saw, which I do think is how it should end.
Dude, that was. Imagine that that's your experience with that movie. Dude, if you give me this film with that happy ending, I give it a 2.5. I give it 2.5. But because I experienced this film with that bleak of an ending, I was like, yo, dude, it's literally like 15 minutes of or at least like 8 minutes of just carnage. It's so long. It's such a
So
long. I'm like, what
good.
is this, dude? And it's just doom. It's just despair, just bleak, and I love that,
And they
dude.
spent
Just
like a year
despondence.
filming it. So good. And like on the Statue of Liberty, eating trains and like people getting pushed out of apartments, shopping areas. Like it was just hilarious. It's kind of like the ending of Him or the ending of Substance, where like it gets so big and it's almost homage to B horror, like Arachnophobia or any of those early. I mean, it is making a Corman movie into a musical. It really robs a lot of it to be like, no, the audience wants them to get married.
So the original ending. So when the guy comes in to get the clipping, Rick Moranis says
Mhm,
no. They destroy
mhm,
Audrey too,
mhm,
Tui, and then they run off and get married somewhere. And then
mhm.
it ends with like a little plant like smiling and winking at the camera, alluding to there being another eclipse of the sun. And
Maybe there's more of them.
I love the
Yeah.
emphasis on like he's like, it was a Chinese man that gave it to me. He sold it to me. It was a Chinese man. Chinese man. I was like, God damn.
It was
We're very lost. In the 80s,
80s.
we're very lost on the person that sold you. I'm like, you could have told me that I don't know. I thought that was really
A bit
funny though.
like
I laughed. I was like,
Gremlins. How you get the Mogwai and Gremlins. Like, why were we
yeah,
really
yeah,
into
yeah,
this
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
80s?
I'm just like, this is very specific. You're like, he was a 25% Chinese, 30% Vietnamese. I'm like, who cares? You have a mutant plant. He was very, very hung up on who he got the plant from. I'm like, Jesus, dude, what are you, the FBI? You need a whole profile? Where'd you get the plant? Why does it have teeth? Is my question. Why do you have a fucking plant that has teeth?
Everybody's looking at this giant pod and no one questions like what happens when the flower opens. You had mentioned Descent being in your top 4 films. You know about the two
Oh,
different
dude.
endings for that, right?
Neil Marshall is supposed to be in talks to do a prequel
This
because it's the
Descent
20th
2, yeah.
anniversary of The Descent. But yeah, no, I saw the ending of the first one where they all make it out, and then the
Mhm,
ending of the first one, the alternate one where like she just wakes up in a cave and it pans out, and
mhm.
that's just a big cave system with these things just closing in on her, and it's doom. I like
Yeah,
sad endings. We don't need happy endings. That's not how life works like 90% of the time. You know how I'm not going to get to retire. My life will end as I'm like waiting tables like hunched over as an old person dragging my left leg behind me cuz I lost feeling in it like 10 years prior. That's my ending. Give me
But
that ending. It's realistic.
American test audiences have a history of completely changing the endings of established films. They did it with Descent. They did it. Early version of Anna Karenina has Anna Karenina live and the baby live, and Vronsky and her go get married. Like, the whole story is she
Ew.
jumps in front of the freaking train. But American test audiences were like, no, make them get married. And they do.
That's like if they adapt Go Ask Alice and they make it like a happy movie. Go Ask Alice was like a super controversial book when I was a kid. Like we'd all read it and be like, "Oh my god, there's sex in this book," and we would just, you know what I mean? But it was in and of itself, it's a great book. It's a really good book. It's very like Sylvia Plathish, like but today, and not today, from like the 90s. But I liked it, and if they make a movie of that, I can guarantee they're not going to make it as bleak. Lars von Trier has to do the movie.
Yes,
That's the only way it's going to be good.
That would be my caveat.
I just watched
Antichrist?
The House That Jack Built. The House That Jack Built. I've seen Antichrist. That was a rewatch. I rewatched Antichrist, and I was like, this doesn't get easier to watch. As a man, why am I doing this? I very delicately peed for the rest of the day afterwards. I was like, I'm just going to lean over and I'm not touching it. It hurt me to watch that film.
I saw that movie once,
it's
and
beautiful
I
film.
still think about it. Every time I look at a fox, I think about it. Every time, it's a lot. It's a lot.
And that's the best thing he's ever done. Like I like Lars von Trier. I think that like a lot of his movies are very self-indulgent. Like you could see like he's just rubbing his back the entire time. He's like, "Oh, this is a good one, Lars. This is a great film. This is a great shot, Lars. A great shot." But I mean, The House That Jack Built was so self-indulgent. Like if you take away all of the dialogue between Jack and like the dude that's walking him through hell, and you just piece together all the narratives beyond that, it's a 9 out of 10 movie. It's great. But like, dude, with all of Lars von Trier's like back padding and like Matt Dillon needs to stand in front of a van with the metaphorical word. You know what I mean? That alludes to how he feels in the moment. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. Please. Like that kind of art is so dumb. And like it's like self-gratifying. Please you could be artistic. I've seen film like No Country for Old Men is beautiful without being self-indulgent.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful because it is. Because of the way it exists and the way it was shot and presented.
And that's part of that flavor that we're picking up on when we don't like a musical, is that it doesn't feel that way. It has this like flavor about it that feels so contrived and like self-congratulatory. Like, am I watching this because I'm enjoying the story, or am I supposed to be impressed by people who can also sing while telling me a story?
Just standing in front of a van. You get Matt Dillon to stand in front of a van, and he writes, there's just a big whiteboard that says envy on it. And I'm just like, dude, Lars, come on.
Come on.
But then you go to another scene, and he's hunting a lady and her kids. And I'm like, this is so rad and so bleak and so gross. And I feel gross. I feel gross for liking it. And then it cuts away to a goat head. And then Matt Dillon's standing above it, and he's like, sometimes I ponder the meaning of life and what it means. I'm like, go fuck yourself. You're doing this again. Stop. Because the narrative propels itself with the stories that you're telling, and then you just stop everything. And you make us just hyper focus on these really insignificant things that you try to bring such great significance to. I don't understand like filmmaking like.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the musical aspects of musicals can feel like. You're stopping the narrative to sing something, and that can really put you out.
But I fast forwarded through all of the singing in this movie. Honestly, I think I did. I honestly I didn't experience this film organically at all because I didn't even see the original ending. But I think my experience with it, now that I've sat with it, because when I was done with it, I was like, there's too much singing. Why is there so much singing? But I'm like, you didn't even watch that much singing, asshole. It wasn't that bad. Like the fucking practical effects were just chef's kiss. Some of the best that I've seen for that time period. Apart from like ooey gooey stuff that you see in like The Thing. But like if that guy did so well that he now has a school where he teaches that. He teaches practical effects to people. So I mean,
yeah.
The Jim Henson Muppet stuff. Dude, it was so good, and it brought me in, and I really didn't hate this movie as much as I thought I would. Like,
Well,
what if I don't hate it?
beautiful stuff with that where, like, so when they had all of Levi Stubbs does Audrey 2's vocals or recorded ahead of time. So that's played live for the puppeteers because there's multiple puppeteers inside Audrey to match the lips. Because I was so impressed by the lip matching. She has such articulate
Yeah,
lips while she's singing. And then
from
also a
1986.
I,
That's
and a live person
40
is
years ago.
interacting. Yeah.
That's a 40-year-old movie.
In order to do that, they filmed it 11 frames instead of 24 and then sped it up. So everything is a much slower so that Audrey can move slower and have it feel fluid when sped up to the fastness that they needed it instead of it making it feel like it was sped up take. And that meant that the actors had to be moving slow. So you're seeing slow-mo acting from Rick Moranis, and I think that he did a wonderful job.
Rick Moranis is amazing in everything that he does, but like, excuse me, for whatever reason, for the first 15 minutes of the movie, he's like yelling. Like, have you know? There's like a volume issue. He definitely like he eases into it, and you kind of I don't know if you become more comfortable with the inflection of his voice or the volume, or he actually
Mhm.
just kind of quiets down and like talks like a normal person. But dude, for the first 15 minutes of the movie, he's like I'm like, whoa, dude, he sounds like he's protesting. I was like, this is Portland. This is Portland, Rick Moranis. I don't. I was like, he definitely quiets down though, and becomes more palatable, but. For whatever reason,
Mhm.
that first 15 minutes, I was like, this guy's yelling. And 1986 was wild. Dude, I was born in 1986. Wild time. They would just yell during the first
Just
15
yell
minutes of
for
movies.
whole first and I don't specifically remember him yelling. I do know that like there's a shift in the accents of both our main characters as we progress through the story where like you get that really affected character from Audrey 1 where she's doing that vocal impression which there's a bunch of people who do really great dissections of different types of female types of performances at the time. This is one of those 1950s, like really high talking kind of voices, and how that is really a way of trying to rebel but still doing it safely. Like we can dissect Audrey's voice, and plenty of people have done that. And that can feel kind of grating because it's really heavy for the first part of the movie. But once she starts to like fall in love with Seymour and trust him, she literally drops it. And in the songs, you hear her drop it because she was singing with this fake voice for most of it. And then once they fall in love, she starts to actually belt and let go of that ridiculous characterization. And he starts to sound a little less like a schlemiel, like, so their vocal performances do progress, I think, as part of the singing narrative.
Honestly, I thought she just had like laryngitis or something. I was like, oh, this is RFK's mom. That's what I thought. I thought, and then I went over. That's what I thought that's what I was watching. I didn't realize that she was doing that on purpose. I was like, no one sounds like this on purpose. You drink motor oil and stick a boat engine in your mouth, and that's what happens because the propellers you see they dice up your vocal cord. I don't know. I didn't think I
Yeah.
didn't think that was intentional.
Well, the desire at the time period is like so as a woman with no power in her relationship with the dentist, she's really scared to speak her mind. But if she speaks it like she's a little tiny baby with this really dumb voice, nobody has to take anything she says seriously. And she can actually say what she wants to say. That's why they would talk like
So it's
that
like a
in
defense
movies.
mechanism,
It's an
like a defense
affectation of
kind of.
speech that arises, yeah,
Okay.
not from cultural or not from and so, like, they're hearkening to that, but also, I will fully admit, that's a pretty grating way to talk.
Yeah, that sucks. I would be so mad. I'm like, can you just talk like, what do you want? Stop dating somebody that's addicted to laughing gas. You're dating the villain from
Mhm.
Who Framed Roger
Mhm.
Rabbit, essentially. This is Christopher Lloyd in 1993. Stop doing that. Like,
Another
you don't have to do that.
fantastic movie. Another fantastic movie.
Dude, that's one of
But
my favorite movies of all time.
I do appreciate how kind of, like, gross everything is. Like, the set is gross, the characters are flawed, they have kind of annoying
Sets are shit.
voices, the costumes are brash and ridiculous. Actually, I was reading one of the trivia notes, the hardest thing they had to do for set was find trash cans because they needed old, beat-up trash cans, and, like, nobody really has that. So, a PA went around and traded brand new trash cans for people's old trash cans to try and make the set work.
So this film is based on a film from like the 1970s, 1960s, right? 70s, 60s.
1960.
Were they trying to depict 1960s New York? Or
They were
was
doing
this
for,
supposed
yeah,
to be like a modern
1960s,
one?
1950s. No, it wasn't supposed. I mean, yeah, no, because they're using doo-wop as well. So yeah, I think we're going for
Yeah.
more of a like 60s, 50s feel.
So the 80s was trying to get older than what it was. That's crazy because the 80s was 40 years ago. But they're like, oh, let's go 60, let's go 20 more years. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And that's why you get the greaser hairstyles. John Candy's hair
Yeah.
is amazing. My God.
I feel like Rick
That must
Moranis
have
plays the
taken a
same
while.
character in all of his films, though. Rick Moranis was the Jason Bateman of his time.
I literally said to my husband when he's because especially at the ending of the original one where after Audrey is dead, like he comes out of this rubble. And so he's just wearing a button-down blue shirt and khakis and rubble. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the Keymaster. It looks like him addled
Yeah,
at the very end of Ghostbusters. He is
exactly.
just that guy again. And there's something about that works because I fucking love that guy. Like, he's not quite the Schlemiel Schlemazel shitty character where you're like, bad stuff always happens to him and he sucks. You're like, bad stuff happens to him, but I hope he's okay.
There's a term for it. I think it's called like lovable loser. Like he
Mm-hmm.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kid when he was with his inventions.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters when he couldn't talk to the girl until he became possessed by one of those gremlin things, by Gozer. And now we see him in this movie, like kind of coming into his own. So he does really play the same. Like Jason Bateman or Ryan Reynolds, they just have the same affect when they talk. I think Jason Bateman arguably plays the same roles, but I've seen Ryan Reynolds play other people. Like in the voices, he was not like Ryan Reynolds. He was like
Mm-hmm.
insane. But like Rick Moranis more so does actually play the same. I think the only time was when he was Darth, whatever, he was in Spaceballs. I think that's the one time where he didn't, but he still had the glasses and he still looked like Rick Moranis.
Still a little bit of the like, he's kind of a loser in that as well.
Like lovable loser,
It's
yeah.
It's so hard to do that as an actor, like to just be yourself no matter what you're in. And like sometimes it works. Denzel Washington is not going to change the way he speaks no matter what character he's
No.
playing. Sean Connery is going to be a Russian U-boat captain with a heavy
Sean
Scottish
Connery.
accent. He's going to be a Spanish guy in Highlander, heavy Scottish accent. Like
Dude.
John Malkovich, King of France, still sounds like he's from Philadelphia.
Okay. John Malkovich, though, I don't know how, I don't know why, one of the greatest actors of my generation.
He's a very
I
good
loved
actor,
dude.
but he
He's so
doesn't
good, dude.
ever change his affectation. He's still himself in every role. He's almost Brechtolianly still himself, and like
Who's your
it's
favorite actor,
hard.
Brew? Who's your favorite actor? Oh, she doesn't like it. You got 2
No,
seconds. Sorry.
the
You said you wanted to
paparazzi.
say hi.
I did want to
The
say hi. I love the cat.
paparazzi. That's so cute. She's mad at me now. What? You come in here all the time and I finally put you on camera and you're not happy. Don't look at me like that. She's
So,
not happy.
did you
Her
have
brother's up.
shit? Is a
Yep, they're fighting.
firefight?
There's fighting. Boondock Saints?
Do you have a favorite? Yeah, that is a Boondock Saints reference. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anytime my
You
cats
know what?
start fighting.
I did not think that I would be as film savvy. Not as film savvy as you, obviously, but I didn't think that I would be able to like hold court in the same area as you. But I'm actually very happy with this. Like that,
You're
this is
doing
actually kind of
great.
cool. I'm like, there's like
Yeah.
referencing movies that I know, and I'm just like, this kind of rules because I know a lot of the stuff that
Yeah.
you're asking. I'm so glad that you didn't go back into like post 80s though, because I would have been like, oh shit, or pre 80s. I would have been like, oh shit.
I kind of start to fall
I'm
apart
s-
when we get there too. Like
I'm not
I have a
versed.
reverence, but I'm not as versed, especially with certain people. Like you want to bring somebody like Harry Marks on for that because he is so versed in that, and I don't want to pretend. Although I try and
No,
watch
I would
some
be
of those
pretending.
films, it just kind of gets me like they're not all my favorite. Like I didn't totally like the Corman version of this. I tried to,
Do it.
which is impressive,
it.
but I really did like the musical. I did like the musical part. Do you have a favorite scene?
Anything earlier than the 80s? I can't relate to it. There's no relatability. It's too far from like my existence for me to appreciate.
I always get stuck on this because some of the films from the late 70s you forget are there. Like the first Alien is 79.
Okay, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Even though you can see the zipper and the costume, it doesn't count.
I still fucking
It's
love
still
it.
rad. It's still
It's
rad.
still so good. I just
Like
rewatched
Texas
that
Chainsaw Massacre
recently.
is still good, even though that lady just is so loud. Like she screams the entire movie, and it's a little grating. It's kind of hard to watch, actually.
I'm genuinely surprised
But
they got a movie
I watch
out
it
of
for the
that.
set pieces.
Yeah, which were real rotting animals. The people had to like do cuts and then throw out, like, go to the windows and throw up because the entire set was just covered in like rotting food.
I don't know how they got licensed to do that. I mean, I guess you can buy like a whole pig that hangs in a window.
Yeah. I mean, there was really it was supposed to be written, it was written as a tax write-off for the mafia, and so it wasn't supposed to do well. Like,
And they
that's
just
why it is
they
that way.
underestimated our mental illness in the 70s. They
Well,
won't do
that's how
that
you get
again.
the producers. What if you could make more money with a flop than with a hit, and then it winds up actually being a hit? That's the problem. You gotta watch out.
I don't
So, do
understand why
you
they keep
have
making those.
a favorite scene or a least favorite scene?
My favorite scene is my least favorite scene is everything Steve Martin does in this movie.
Well,
He's just
it
like,
is a bit chewing the scenery. He is very big.
dude, I don't like, dude, it's too much. Like, this could be the worst Steve Martin performance that I've ever seen. Obviously, it's performative. It's supposed to be he plays the character that he's supposed to play for that. But like,
Mhm.
from my enjoyment factor, 0 for Steve Martin. He just is annoying to me. Like,
What's your
I'm
favorite
annoying
Steve
to probably
Martin?
everyone that's listening right now.
Yeah.
This guy was that for me.
Like, does he always is he always annoying to you? Or do you have a
No,
point?
not at
Because
all.
like, Steve
No,
Martin
like
always
the
comes with
Jerk
Martin
was
Short,
amazing.
and okay, good.
I love Martin
Yeah, like, I
Short.
don't like
The TV show they have together, I love. Only Murders in the
Only
Building.
Murders
I
in the
love them
Building.
both together. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes it's,
No,
like,
I love
hard
Steve
to
Martin.
dissect,
I like his comedy. His stand-up's good.
but he is really going for broke here and
Yeah.
not being subtle, and he's a very subtle actor in his comedy, so this is, like,
I especially love, even though John Candy was up there too with being annoying, like, just seeing him, you know what I mean? And like,
yeah, it was really
I
nice to
think
see
about what
him.
we missed as a generation because I loved everything that he did through the 80s with like Dan Aykroyd and all those like
And all the
like
SCTV people, yeah.
John Candy and Dan Aykroyd were like the Chris Farley and David Spade of our time,
Mm,
of the 80s.
mhm,
And I just,
mhm.
and when I see John Candy, I'm just like, dude, like we missed out. So I loved the scenes with him in it, but my favorite scene is probably the end. Just the plants destroying everything. Just because I didn't expect that. I expected some cookie cutter ending, like the ending that you described, the ending that was arranged to appease the audience to pass the film into mass production.
And it wasn't until I was older that I found out there was a different ending for this, and it gave me a lot more love for it. But you're absolutely right. Like, if you're listening to us talk about this right now and you don't know the ending we are talking about, it's in the liner
Dude,
notes, it's available on YouTube. You can still see it. And I highly encourage you to see it because they should re-edit it and, like, after the fact, because like you say, there are plenty of movies that are not fully appreciated the way they are when they first come out, and it should be shown this way, in my opinion.
that's how I saw it. I rented it on Amazon. That's exactly how it was.
I rented it on
That's
Amazon.
exactly how
How
they.
did we see different movies?
I have no idea. I might be logged into the Amazon knows that all I watch is horror movies though. Like Amazon knows
Mm.
that this man is mentally unstable. He watches Thursday Night Football on Amazon and then he watches people die after that. So they gave me,
Man,
it was crazy. I saw the ending of this film and I was like, dude, this doesn't suck.
it's
I'm like, like it does kind of suck. Like the singing sucks and Steve Martin sucks. But like, I don't know, like watching the story and then like, oh, I have a plant. It's going to eat people. I have to feed it people because it gets too big to suck blood from my finger. And I don't know. It kind of, it wasn't, I don't know. I didn't hate it. Did you like this film?
I really like this film. I really like this film, and I also very much like the music from it as well, which is just really
So you
weird
didn't
for
fast
me.
forward through the music.
I actually watched it twice.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I watched it once
What is
on
your
Sunday
favorite
and
part?
then again God. Actually, what my favorite part is the opening number where they on Skid Row. Not the very, very
Oh, yeah.
opening number for Rocky Horror, that's a Little Shop song. I do love the baritone that you get from, I believe it's Beatrice Reading when she opens up that song. And I think it's just a really, I like how ugly and gross and an accurate representation of the New York City that I grew up in that song feels like, and how
You
like
grew up in New
we're
York?
so, yeah, I grew up in Flushing, Queens.
Oh my God. That's
I don't
crazy.
have the
That's crazy.
accent, but yeah, like
No,
I try not to have the accent, but there are certain words I can't say, so you'll never hear me say them. Everything's
really?
a
Like, does it
puppy.
come out?
I can't say dog is a hard word for me.
That's
I
rad.
can't
You do? Oh, you do.
I can't say like they're a chest of draw, like drawers. I say it's just a draw.
Drawers?
Like it's in the draw instead of drawer.
That's almost like that's a Boston thing, though.
It's Harry Marks from Jersey also has the same thing with draw. So like there's certain, and if I get very fucking angry, like if you talked to me about Long Legs when I got out of the theater after having seen Long Legs, I have no control over my accent. It is bad.
I'm not a cop.
Like yeah, no, it's like a audition for a Martin Scorsese film. That's how
The
bad it
Departed.
gets.
Yeah. No, dude. Boston accent away though. That's the best.
Well, no, it's a
I thought
Queen's
you lived in
accent.
Boston. I thought you lived in Boston for some reason. I thought you were
It's a
like a
Queen's
Bostonian.
accent that I have, but I'm from Western Massachusetts now, so it does get a little bit folded into that, like I'll say wicked and shit like that too.
Yeah,
And I do
they
a lot of auditions for Dunkin' Donuts commercials where they want you to ham it up, so you just lean in. But also, like, I lost an audition for Girl from Queens because they're like, yeah, you don't look like a girl from Queens. I was like, fuck you.
That's crazy. How do Bostonians audition for Dunkin' Donuts? I love these fucking donuts. Like, what do you do? How do you audition for it has to be a
Copy
Boston
is
Dunkin'
literally
Donuts?
written. It's literally written like that. I'm not shitting you. It'll be like, this Dunkin' Donuts is wicked fantastic when it snows 7 feet. Like, it's offensive, the copy you have to go in there and read.
This coffee's gonna give you diarrhea, but it's fucking wicked good.
You gotta call it dunks. You're like, I've never called it dunks a day. I call it the D because I love saying, you know how much I love the D. Like, nobody calls
That's the
dunks.
best. Dunks
He
is
loves
so
the D.
fucking stupid. It's so stupid. They should give you more roles. That'd be rad. You need to queens it up though. You'd be like, I don't know if my dunks in the draw.
His dogs don't like this fucking dunks. It's all crap.
You talk about long legs, Dunkin' Donuts, and dogs.
That's why my long legs review has no talking, just me pointing at things, because I was mad for a week and every time I recorded, I sounded like I was making fun of people from Queens because I try not to have that accent on my channel. And I was like, just take the audio out.
I did a long legs review, and that's like the first thing that I ever did that got like a lot of views.
Yeah.
It was a lot to me. And like probably 600 comments of people saying, you're gay. Like just a bunch of times. And I'm just like, dude, I just don't like the same movie as you. I don't know. I've been like, okay. I never take it personally. If you can't take negative feedback, don't create stuff on the internet. Because like you put
Oh
it
my
out there
God,
for
yeah.
everybody to see. You put it out there for everybody to see. People they have the right to say stupid stuff to you. That's like one of the great things about where we live is we could say whatever we want. You know what I mean? Free speech. But obviously, don't be shitty. Don't be hateful. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna do it to me, I'm the right person to do it to because I'm just gonna be like, that was fun. That was a good one. It was funny. I'll just laugh with you and be like, yeah, that was.
A lot of
I'm just
times the
gonna
best
agree.
way to diffuse it is to just agree. Like everybody was trying to tell me I look like Lava Girl. And I'm like, yeah, I had to look it up, but it's not an accurate description of how I look. Why?
No, you look like a now you look like a Queens lady. Now I can't unsee it. I'm just like, yeah, she looks like someone who could kick the shit out of everybody listening to this podcast right now. Anything's a weapon for the ladies in Queens.
Yeah, well, I'm also a competitive foil fencer, so like every single wall in my house has a weapon on it. Like no joke, swords on every wall.
Oh, I think I knew that. No, I think I knew that. Actually, I think
Yeah.
I've seen like pictures of you like with like really thin swords, and I was like, I could break that in half. I'm like, no, she'd probably cookie carve stuff into my skin before I could do anything.
Sell Zorro on you.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I mean, Zorro saved Mexico with that sword. You could do it.
I could only save America with a sword. I'm willing to try, is what I'm gonna throw out there. But going back to our movie, I did enjoy some of those numbers. My favorite personal number is also Suddenly Seymour, where the two of them, because that's when Audrey finally drops that ridiculous accent that we're discussing right now, which is something that, like, growing up with a silly accent, I appreciated that here's a musical where the person has a silly accent, because it's hard to sing without a silly accent when you have one. So I felt like a little identified with that, but also, like, I hate musicals, and I never fully understand why I like some. You were saying you liked South Park the musical, though, right?
I don't think I could watch it today just because of like
Mhm.
how dated the humor is. It's like potty humor.
Mm,
So when it
yeah.
came out and I was a kid, I was like, this is cool. But if I watched it now, I'd be like, what is this?
What about Book of Mormon? I haven't seen that, but it's
Dude,
same people.
okay, I actually went to see Book of Mormon. Like I
Mhm.
paid a lot, went to see it. It was one of the best experiences of my entire life because Matt Parker and Trey Stone are like my love language. That's like my soul. Obviously, like the first couple seasons of South Park now, they don't hold up because they came out in the early 90s. So,
Mhm.
but the contemporary stuff, amazing. Book of Mormon, absolutely amazing. Because it's like
Okay.
I think it's just like a realistic view of religion, all religion, not just Mormon, just all of it. Every single one. There's 200 religions on the planet, give or take, just in different iterations of one another, like with minute details, differences for each one. They're so great at just taking the word Mormon and just expanding it into, oh no, this is for everyone. This isn't just for, we think you're all dumb, not just Mormon, like all of you. Like, how do you all think
Equal
you're right?
opportunity. Yeah, they mock
Yeah,
everyone.
exactly. And they've always been that way, and that's why I like
Yeah.
them. That's why I make fun of everyone. It's not just one group of people. It's everything that I see that looks different that I can find some kind of satire in. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it, and I'm gonna do the best I can not to be hateful or shitty, but like I'm gonna do it to everybody, so there's no real prejudice in it. Just everything, every everything, especially me. Nobody has a better sense of humor about me than I do. No one's more self-aware that I look like an egg than me. That like I look like an egg that got dropped on the carpet. So I know that. But I'm gonna like, I don't know. Being open to that, I can make fun of anything. Except you.
What is it
I'm not making fun of you.
about the well, I appreciate that. Although I think that self-deprecation is a great comedy. That's a picture of Conan O'Brien that's signed right over there. I got that when I was 16 because he's one of my
I
favorites. I
love
just
I
love
love
that
Coco.
ability that we're describing, this ability to stand
Love
up and be
Coco.
like, I am not special. I want to be looked at and I want to be in charge. I want to talk, but I also know that I'm ridiculous. And that if you
Yeah.
can't, I don't think you could survive doing what you or I do every day, a video, every single fucking day, talking to people if you took yourself super seriously. Even the stuff that I do, like, yes, I'm talking about a really sincere film terminology. But if you want to talk in the comments about something silly, I'll also talk about, like, it's fine, whatever. I'm just trying to put myself out there. And that's really hard to do when you're super, like, sensitive.
Dude, I'll tell you this, I hate I'll watch my stuff and I'm like, dude, you're so stupid. I'm like, why do you do this? I do that all the time.
But, like, that's, each video gets slightly better than the last. That's all that you can do. It's easy to be on a hedonic treadmill and feel like, oh my God, it has to get better and
I
better and
can't
better.
Can you imagine like your first video that you ever post gets like gets a million views and then you automatically start with like 20,000 followers versus like having to work for it, and then when you do get to that point, you're like so versed and so good at what you do that like now you have a product that you want that many people to see. I would be embarrassed if somebody saw like if I got popular like the day that I started doing this, that would bum me out because I don't have the vocabulary, I don't have the repetitions, like I haven't strengthened this muscle yet. But at this point, like
I
I'm
didn't
ready for whatever at this point. But
didn't even have
I'm
the
glad
right,
that
like,
nothing happened
microphone.
now.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
like, who cares what I was saying? Nobody could fucking hear it right.
I never turned the fan down. All you can hear is the fan. Like there's so much stuff that you just learn to tweak, dude.
Yeah, yeah. And do
It's not like you're
noise
in like a
cancellation.
tunnel.
All you hear is like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm glad people like this. Oh, man.
That's why I do the toilet
So,
stuff now because the toilet stuff is so easy. It's like 15 seconds, but like I don't need anything to do it. I could do it in 15 seconds and like it covers whatever that like short term market is because I do like
mhm,
not long form, but like my videos are like at least 90 seconds for the
It's just
video reviews.
considered long
But
form,
like
yeah.
the toilet stuff is easy, stupid, fun, and it's like anybody could do that. And I feel like it's I don't know. It's pertinent to the other material. And then I have this that's more of like a professional, like I use a microphone, I have like backdrops, I have everything. I get to do both now. I get to
Yeah.
regress.
Well, I think you can't be only short or only long. I mean, I guess some people are, but that's really, I think, tiresome for me if I only made ridiculous short videos. What's the point of that?
Yeah, there's vapid.
That is
There's
truly,
vapidness
that's
to it.
like, just look at me. Just look at me.
And then people question like your media literacy, and you're just like, you're stupid. All you say stuff sucks. It's like, no, there's 90 reasons why this movie sucks in the video before, or 90 reasons that I do like it, or redemptive qualities to it, or Easter eggs that I noticed in the background for this film. There's different explanations for all things, and I'm not going to sit here and act smarter than anybody. You know what I mean? Like I'm still the guy that says, "Oh, this sucks." Like that's who I am at my core, but I'm able to like vocalize why and elaborate.
Yeah. So, when you're talking about Book of Mormon and enjoying it, what do you think about the music in Book of Mormon that worked for you? Because you really don't typically like music in a narrative.
It's the way that Matt and Trey can fashion a song, and these songs are more contemporary. I think Book of Mormon's in the last like 15 years, whereas
Yeah,
like South
yeah.
Park the musical is like 2002, 2001, or something like that. Like that's way back there. So South Park musical is like I don't know, like Uncle Fucker. You know what I mean? Like that's one of their songs from Canada.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, dude, like it might have been funny when I was like 14, but I watch it now. I'm just like, The Book of Mormon was just like it was so tongue in cheek about religion and like kind of how I feel about religion too. All of them, not just one, all of them. And it's just, yeah, I just felt more pertinent and relatable, and just like it didn't feel high school. It felt very adult. And I think that's Matt and Trey's stuff grew with them as they aged. Like they stuck with what worked for like 10 years, and then they had to start thinking outside the box, and they've still been successful to this day. So I
Yeah.
think that
Oh my
their
God.
formula just grows with them. And I kind of grew because I grew up with that. I grew up with South Park, so I grew with them as well. In whatever they were doing, it hit different notes. But I don't think I can go back and watch like the first 4 or 5 seasons of South Park. I think it'd be too dated.
I think most stuff that we watched in the 90s does, even like the innocuous stuff, like an episode of Friends, you're just like, oh, we really
The
just
Simpsons. I think The
did
Simpsons
that.
is probably one of the most timeless things, though. I think you can
That's
watch
true.
The
That is
Simpsons.
true. You're right. Caveat there. All
That
right. So
might be the best thing ever made.
I don't think anyone can deny that. Like they touched so many. I can't believe they're still even freaking going and still having new
Dude,
stories.
Conan used to write for The Simpsons.
I know that. He wrote the monorail episode, one of the most best episodes. Oh,
Dude,
God.
I love The Simpsons.
Good stuff. As we draw to a close here, I want to ask you, we kind of know how you feel about the movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, however you feel. How would you rate this movie?
I give it a 5 out of 10. It was okay. It's not bad by any merits. If you like the music takes away from it, for me, obviously. The acting takes away. Steve Martin takes it away from me. Steve Martin, the music.
Did you see Bill Murray's scenes?
Yeah, Bill Murray is great.
Okay,
I love
okay,
Bill
okay,
Murray
okay.
when he was acting with Steve Martin, and he was like, I didn't like they sexualized the drills and stuff, the experience. He's like, get this freak out of here. Like, I love that part. I love Bill Murray. But I'm an apologist. Like, I love anything that dude does. Like, people are starting to come out and say he sucks, and I'm just like, it's Bill Murray, dude. You can't take away Bill Murray from me. You can't.
There's a very fun, weird bit of trivia in that, like, baseball kind of, like, deep trivia stuff. In that scene with Bill Murray, the tools that they use on his mouth, that set of tools, is the same set of tools that they use on Jack Nicholson in the recreations of his face scene in the original Batman when he gets turned into the Joker.
What?
Which is funny
there,
because
like,
he
a
also,
connection?
Jack Nicholson played the dentist in the
He played in
Corman
the original
version
one.
of it. I don't know if it's intentional, but it is a graphic match. Those are the same sets of tools that they use in the same sequence.
That's insane. And then I think the Batman movie was what, 90? 89 or 90?
Yeah, it's later.
The Burton
It's
one?
later. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I wonder what
Could be a
connection
little
Jack
nod.
Nicholson. Oh, I mean, yeah, they do that all the time, and then we don't notice for years, and I don't know, somebody has to notice. It can't be coming from, like, production or the people that worked on the movie. Like, somebody, like, watches one and then watches the other and, like, "That's the same thing," and then they make a YouTube video about it, and then it blows my mind.
And then it blows your
I
mind. Yeah,
love that.
it's in the deep trivia, but I mean, Burton could have been a fan of this movie very easily. It's very
Yeah.
Burton-esque, and he would
It
have loved the Muppets. So I could see like him making a little wink. It's just one of those like, oh, fun trivia nods there to that part. But
and
would
this
you
movie's better than
recommend
half of the movies Tim Burton made.
hot take I will agree with on that one, especially as
He's
of
not
late. I do not enjoy him
Tim
lately. And another
Tim
horror
Burton is not
musical that
great.
he did that didn't work for me,
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd, I could have made you watch that.
You know what? I don't think I hated Sweeney Todd that much. I can't remember, but I do remember, like, leaving that experience not completely, like,
Okay.
admonishing it. Yeah. But I have to watch it again. I have no
You
idea. I
don't
can't
have
remember.
to
It
watch
came
it
out in what,
again.
2006 or 7? I can't remember. But I mean, like,
Yeah,
Sleepy
something like
Hollow
that.
wasn't good.
It was
Corpse
at
Bride wasn't
the
that
height
good.
of Sacha Baron Cohen because he's in the Burton Sweeney
Borat.
Todd. Yeah. So like the late 2000s.
Okay. But yeah, no,
But
I give it
anyway,
like a 5 out of 10. What do you
would you
give it?
recommend it to other for me, I give it closer to an 8 out of 10. I do find it
That's not
thoroughly
bad.
enjoyable. Yeah. It's
But
flawed in
that's
places
realistic.
and there are certain songs that I would fast forward through, but I also enjoy, and we didn't even really talk about this, the Ronettes, the Greek chorus that is throughout the entire
Oh,
piece. Like
they were good. The
I
ones
really
yeah, they
enjoyed
were good.
that. Yeah. And the way that they did certain like subtle shit that I only noticed from having watched it so many times this time, where like the Ronettes don't get wet when they're outside and it's raining because there's a completely different existence. I think the three women who are outside who are the same actresses, and then the Ronettes are kind of like Seymour's imagining of this Greek chorus or this morality
Yeah,
play. And so like they're there,
because
but they're
they were
not
in
physically there.
all these scenes. Like, they were somewhere in the
Hmm.
background, or, like, when like, before Seymour gets eaten, you see, like, their legs in the background. You see their
Hmm.
legs in front of you, and then you see that the plant monster eats Seymour. So, I don't know, they were just always, like, prevalent.
Yeah. And it's kind of like that sort of Fight Club situation where you're like, oh, are these people real? Are they not real?
Yeah,
Fun note,
Patrick
both
Bateman.
of, yes, the two of the actresses play Gina and Pamela on Martin. Like they would wind up to go be the leads of Martin together.
That's
Tisha
where
and
I reckon, because
Gina. Yeah.
I loved Gina. I do. I love Martin. And
Yes,
I recognized her too.
that's
I
Gina.
recognized her too. I was like, who is that? So
Great voices and wonderful actresses.
you you sealed like a major, like, like, broken bridge in my head, because I couldn't connect the two. I was like, what? Where's this from? And now I'm very happy in my skull right now.
Good. 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 Would you recommend this movie to other people?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, just based on what I saw, no. But, like, do you like musicals? Do you like fast forwarding through songs? If you can fast forward through the songs, I would say watch it, because then you can enjoy the actual movie. But, like, with the songs, like, there's already glaring issues with the movie. The songs just hurt those issues, and I don't like
Hmm.
that. But just if you could fast forward through everything, it's enjoyable. You'll like it.
I would
I'm
definitely
not
put the
mad that I watched it.
caveat.
I don't feel like it was a waste of time.
Oh, see, that's great. My caveat for people, if I told people to watch it now, knowing what I know about the whole thing, is that I would definitely encourage people to watch it with the original cut ending. I would have to make sure that they knew that there were two different endings, because that would like
Watch the
really
dark
bother
ending.
me if they saw the happy ending and thought that that was what I was fully behind, and like it has its purpose and its place and everything, and you can also watch that ending too because it's got Belushi in it, but like the production value, the fun,
My
the
review
bigness.
is gonna have the Bleak ending.
You should tell
I'm
people
not
about it.
reviewing it based on the actual ending. I'm reviewing it on the Bleak one.
Good, good, that will rewrite history that way. I want to thank you
We
so
should.
much for coming on the show and being willing to watch a musical. I know, because I drove myself crazy watching a lot that sucked as well, how hard it is when you don't like this genre, and it's very hard to find something that goes against genre. It's like I hate it for what it is. That's so unfair. because it is what it is.
I mean, this was fun. I mean, it was fun. I had fun last time we did this, and is this more? Did we have more fun on this one, or did we have more fun on the other one? I can't remember if this was a year ago.
Do you know,
I think it was literally a year ago.
it was almost literally a year ago. I've had a lot of fun today, so I'm going to say we had more fun this time. It was more of an organized conversation because this is viewers who are listening. We recorded a part 1 back when I was doing 2 separate parts where people would talk to me before they watched a movie, then go watch a movie. And it was a little bit like a big to do. So we're just doing this one compartmentalized episode for you, which is just a little different. And we had a different movie picked then too. I think it was Anna and the Apocalypse, right?
Yeah, it was. That's why I was excited to go see it. I thought it was just going to be Glee with blood. I was like, all right.
It was a regrettable experience. I did fast forward through a lot of that, but I also really hate high schools, so it amplified. I think taking a musical and having it in a high school is going to amplify both of our problems pretty badly. You kind of
Dude.
have to put it through the lens of like religion or nihilism or something really big to kind of defocus that preciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
High
right.
school.
Well,
Biggest fear.
anything you'd like to say before we go?
I'm just really happy to have done this whole thing because
Yeah.
the last time we did this, you were right. I hadn't seen it yet, and we were talking about what if I hate it? What if I like it? You know what I mean? Like that was the premise for the old show. So I'm excited to see. I got to go back and listen to your new ones. I think I'm like, yeah. I don't know how many episodes out I am because I used to listen to the ones where you would record it first and then record it later, and then my podcast list just got so big that like
Yeah,
a lot of these I'm still like subscribed and I still like they still pop up, but I need to go back and like I'm not quick enough for how many I'm subscribed to.
and some of those episodes got to be like 3 hours long, and we talked about a lot of really
They're
cool
long.
stuff in the front end that was like really open world, like Skyrim conversations. But I think people are coming to these episodes to kind of really talk about maybe focusing more in on the genre of the movie itself. So, and I just felt like I didn't want to disrespect guests by having them have to do 2 whole bookings. That felt like a lot of work to ask people. And so
I mean,
kind
we
of
love you. We'll come
reformatting it
back.
this way. Well, I have people come back on this now. The challenge is you can take a movie I haven't seen that you love and make me watch it.
Okay, but I'm gonna pick a gross one. This is gonna be gross. I'm gonna put you through like trauma. It's gonna be like we won't even be able to talk about half the film on here.
It'll just
You
be
remember
me
what
with
happened with that beep?
No, it was really beautiful the way that the light fell on the asshole as they sewed the lips on. It was just really reminded me of a French film.
I'm gonna make you. I don't know what I could do to you. I mean, I know movies that are just like distastefully gross, but like I hate those movies, so I would never recommend them to people.
The conceit is that you yourself have to believe there is redeeming quality.
I'm trying to think. Is there like Atraz is gross? Atraz is one of the most disgusting movies I've ever seen in my life. Trauma is just there's no redemptive quality to it because it's just mean spirited and gross. I don't know. I gotta sit down and like think about like what I could do to your brain.
To do it right away. Yeah. Think on it. And you'd be surprised.
I'm so excited.
And then usually some people come back with something, and it's pretty fun. And I have watched, a couple of different films that I didn't think I would like and wound up liking. Although I watched Ice Pirates.
I promise you won't like it.
Wasn't that great?
Ice Pirates.
You'd be surprised. Yes. Have you seen
I'll make you
Pirates?
watch K-pop Demon Hunters.
No, I don't want to watch that.
No, I'm not saying. I watched the trailer. Dude, I watched the trailer for it the other night. It looks like dog shit. It looks so bad. I'm like, how the fuck is it? I'm like, because everybody watched it. Everybody's like, you should go watch this. Okay, cool. I watched the trailer. I'm like, who's shit in my mouth right now? I'm like,
and I love anime, so people keep being like, Katie, you should really.
So do I. I like it too. But it's like they sing K-pop in it the whole time. My mom was like, you should see this. I'm like, you should stop watching Netflix. I'm taking away her Netflix, I think.
Welcome to the corrections and omissions and bonus trivia portion of the episode. This is where we cover anything that we might have gotten wrong in the main part and add in any trivia that we just didn't have time to get to. And we didn't have too much to correct from this episode. We really just have one correction, and that's that Jack Nicholson did not play the dentist or the villain in the original Little Shop of Horrors by Roger Corman. He actually played Wilbur Force, the masochistic dental patient who shows up for one very brief but very strange scene. That's the Bill Murray character, not the Steve Martin character. So yeah, he's worth seeing it. That's why he's on the cover, but it's not the same character that we thought he was. And now for the trivia that we didn't get into. 1. The original film was filmed in 2 days. 1960s Little Shop of Horror that I was just talking about with Jack Nicholson, Roger Corman reused sets from his previous film A Bucket of Blood and challenged himself to make an entire feature before the weekend ended. And that scrappy, let's just get it done energy kind of sets the tone for everything that came after it, including the story about a plant that literally grows too fast for anyone to control. We talked about this a little bit in the episode, but I didn't tell you how many. But every movement of Audrey 2, every vine, every twitch, every perfectly timed lip sync was done manually. And the full-size puppet required around 60 operators. Frank Oz basically built up a Muppet on steroids, and it's still one of the most impressive pieces of practical effects of that decade, in my opinion. I mean, with the exception of the head thing from The Thing. So the next time you see that plant sing, do know there's an entire army under there making it happen. The voice of Audrey 2 came from Motown royalty. Audrey 2's voice belongs to Levi Stubbs, the lead singer of the Four Tops. Frank Oz said Stubbs' performance was so commanding, he actually re-edited sequences to fit the vocal delivery. And that's why the plant doesn't just talk, it literally performs. It's equal parts horror and soul, and you can see it all over the page, and I really loved that. Feed Me was filmed in slow motion. And I talked about this just briefly in there, but I just want to really harp in on this. That number looks so dreamlike and eerie, and that is because it is filmed in slow motion. The puppet couldn't move its lips fast enough to match the song, and so the actors performed everything at half speed and then sped the footage up in post. And that's how you get that fluid, almost otherworldly motion. It is not digital trickery, it is just old school precision, and you can really feel it when you watch it, even if you do not know what you are watching. It's that soulful delivery that I was just talking about from Levi Stubbs coming out through these lips, and it's amazing that they were able to match it up at the time, and it's because they did that really cool trick. Frank Oz directed this, but there were 2 other people who almost signed on before him, and that was Steven Spielberg and John Landis. They were seriously considered to direct. Spielberg wanted to produce a version with a darker edge, and Landis was coming off of An American Werewolf in London. Either one would have made something very interesting and very fascinating. Side note, Frank Oz is in American Werewolf in London, just as a blurb for a second. But I really believe that Oz is the perfect person to do the camp horror and to get in there with the puppetry that needed to be here. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the amazing monster that we have. So while I would love to see possible other versions from great directors like that, I think this is a really good team up, and I don't think it should be done by anybody else. The entire set was built indoors. And we talked a little bit about how, like, when the first opening number, it feels very much like you're still watching a play, something that's set on a very constructed, existed soundstage. And that's because it was a soundstage at Pinewood Studios in England. Even the rain was fake. Apparently, they tried to film some of the stuff outside, and it really broke it. Like, the realism took away from the camp and what was happening, so they decided keeping it on a stage gave it that heightened theatrical quality that the film really needs to succeed. You kind of need to know that you're watching something that's really a joke or campy. Otherwise, it becomes too serious, and it's not something that you're laughing with, it's something that you're laughing at. I had mentioned that Ellen Greene was Audrey in the original production, but I didn't mention that she had to re-audition for her role. Even though she originated Audrey on stage, she had to fight to play her again in the film. The studio really wanted a pop star because it would put people in the seats, but Frank Oz insisted that she was irreplaceable. And her performance, especially Somewhere That's Green, gives the movie its emotional anchor. For me, it's hard to imagine anyone else bringing that kind of vulnerability to the role and doing that vocal impression, which really calls out to me as someone who had a weird speech impediment as a kid and who tries to hide a stupid accent like that. to have anyone else do it would really, I don't know. I do know that on Broadway now they are doing versions of it where the lead does not have that kind of accent, and I'm glad because that's the logical progression of where we should go with this piece, but it also kind of makes me a little sad. So, I let all the different flavors of this be that need to be, and if that's what you want, then sure, but I like the original one, and I can't imagine it being anyone else. Audrey 2 was designed by a Star Wars artist. This makes sense because Frank Oz directed it, but the plant was designed by Lyle Conway, and I wanted to say his name for you guys. He worked under Jim Henson and helped create Yoda and Jabba the Hutt. And that's why Audrey 2 feels so tactile and expressive. They have a philosophy for Star Wars creatures, and Audrey was built with the same philosophy. Everything must move like it has weight and intent. I swear, the intent and creativity put behind these puppets is why you can watch a movie from 1986 like this and not be skin crawlingly uncomfortable with how it holds up. I think it still holds up really, really well. And finally, did you catch Roger Corman's cameo in this? The original director, Roger Corman, has a cameo in this version. He plays the license examiner when Seymour tries to register Audrey 2. It's really quick. You could blink and you could pretty much miss it, but it is a perfect handoff from the man who made the scrappy $30,000 original to the team that turned it into a lavish studio musical. We're talking, again, cost more than Aliens. And that's it for corrections and omissions and bonus trivia, and frankly, the episode on a whole. This is all that we've got for you today, but I really appreciate you staying all the way to the end, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed Taylor. Like he says, he is here to make you laugh and brighten your day, so if you want to learn about a new horror movie every day, because he's watching a new one every day, do give him a follow. It's Taylor Complains, and of course, this is going to be in the liner notes. And if you made it all the way to the end of this show and you're not yet a subscriber for me, please give me a follow, throw me a like, throw me a comment. I love to talk to you guys. If you're listening to this on Apple, you're missing out on a lot of the content that is visual because this podcast is also visual. It's visual on Spotify. Maybe you're listening that way. But you can find me on YouTube with the full visual content and you can see us talking about this episode. If you only know me on podcasts, you really should check me out on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok because I am putting out daily content. If you know me only on a podcast, you're only getting me once a month, and these are long form, deep dive content, but I do put something out every single day under the same handle at Movie Runtime, and I would love it if you gave it a look and maybe a follow, maybe a like, and a comment over there as well. Again, thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.